Hey guys, I'm really excited about the upcoming game Doom Eternal. We are creating the Doom Marine in a beautiful framed artwork with some poor demons. Let's get started.
ClayClaim.
When I was younger, the first Doom came out and it was basically a legend in my friend circle, as none of us were allowed to play it or even own it, except for this one friend of mine who claimed that he had the game installed on an old computer that stood in his garage, but would never let any of us play it or even show us. Leave me a comment if you also had one of those friends. And now let's get into building the Doom Marine, aka the Doom Guy, and talking about the Doom franchise a little bit along the way. We start with the aluminum wire with the armature, and look at that! We are smashing some colors together. We have some brown, red, dark brown and black, and together this gives us a really dirty color. Overall, I try to use very dirty, muddy colors because in today's video I try to recreate the light atmosphere from this famous image we all know. Probably not, but I found it and I was fascinated by it, and I was so much fascinated by this artwork of Doom Eternal that I decided to create the whole scenery, although it also meant changing the main colors because the suit of the Doom Guy is green. And here we go, creating it in red. It felt quite wrong and difficult because I had never created light effects with clay before. So let's find out what it will look like in the end. We take a very thin needle to create these beautiful details on the knee protection. And these knees, these legs are a masterpiece itself from the game designers. When you spend some hours watching at the character and noticing all the tiny pipes and holes and dents. We will use both images you have just seen. On the left side, the green armor, on the right side, the light red version with the Eternal Sword, of course. A complex creation like this one works really well if you build in different layers. We start with the main color. You have just seen that we took a more reddish color for the legs. Now we have this very thin layer of dirty orange, and we can work our way up, combining different colors, putting in different colors. I used again the left version of the green suit as it normally is because it helped me to mix the right colors. Look at that, some green found its way into the creation. Although I threw in many different colors to make it more dirty and muddy to get this atmosphere into the creation as well. This chest armor is normally also green, so it's quite disturbing to see it in yellow right now, but I think it's okay when considering that we will paint it after oven hardening, make it more dirty, adding more shadows. Let me tell you, for those of you who are not that familiar with Doom itself, some general informations. The series focuses on the exploits of an unnamed space marine, the Doom Guy, operating under the auspices of the Union Aerospace Corporation, who fights hordes of demons and the undead. This already sounds impressive, but Doom itself, the legend, when I was a child, it was the very first game which I had ever seen featuring 3D graphics. using network multiplayer options, support for player-created modifications, and this all made it so unique in its own way. Very, very dark way. Maybe this is what made it so fascinating to me. All these new features I just mentioned, today it's just common, but in 1993, when the very first Doom was released, these things were like magic to the people and also to me. So far, 6 Doom games and 6 spin-off games have been released, and Doom Eternal will be the 7th. Yeah, it makes sense. The armor part is almost finished of our creation. Now we can focus on the gloves. This is the left hand, which is holding, well, nothing, but later there will be a blade attached. And then we have his right hand, which we will create in a minute. And this will grab around or holding the Eternal Sword, which is glowing. It's the new sword in Doom Eternal. And I also wanted to create it. First I thought about using liquid clay. After oven hardening I could have used it, but I think there is a better way to create it. You will see in a minute. Let's work on some details, on some thorns on the arm to make this a really bad guy. And this is the head. To be honest, this was the 4th attempt till I found a way to figure out how to create a face underneath a helmet or inside a helmet, because we will also add the visor of the helmet and some further details to the side. This is supposed to be green again, but as I told you, I choose this dirty yellow to match the light atmosphere inside the artwork. Some ventilation for the poor guy inside. And now we can add some further pipes and maybe a microphone that he can speak with the corporation. And now that the helmet is almost finished, here we go. We can take it and place it onto our creation. Now that the creation is almost finished itself, well, the character itself, well, I'm always finding some more tiny details we can add. We can now start working on the weapons. We have the blade on his left fist, on his left arm, which is quite simple to create. I just used silver, some brown and red to create this dirty, muddy blade color. And this is the light chain, and I am really excited to try this out, to put it into his right fist, because this is where the glowing Eternal Sword will go. And this is the handle. We will add some red color as well. And then after oven hardening, we have to focus and find a way to create the blade itself, the transparent, the illuminated blade. Some of you remember the flamethrower, and this also reminds me of putting this creation into the oven. Freshly, not yet. We take the frame and start working and preparing some other stuff while our Doom guy is in the oven. When you remember the artwork, you have seen the mountain of all the dead demons which our Doom guy killed. And I thought it would be quite fascinating to create them really vivid, that it looks like as if they are falling out of the frame, out of the artwork. And I took a lot of muddy colors. I got some help from Andy in the studio. He helped me mixing that much color. And we can start forming the very first demons, the very first bodies, with some beautiful details like this hand, which will later grab the frame. We have many thorns. We have some further details which I'm not really sure how to define and what this really is. This is another spine, another back of a demon, and from time to time I just put the frame over the artwork. This is also a poor guy, somehow reminds me of Princess Leia. And now we cut away all the extra clay to fit it into the frame. This is the hand interacting with the frame. We have another more robotic hand. I was not really sure if this was included in the original artwork, but I decided to go this way. And let's put our Doom guy into this pile of demons. It works. Freshly baked demons, look at that. They already look really amazing, but we will go even further by adding color, by adding acrylic paint. We start with the background layer because we start in the background and then we will work our way to the front, to the demons. We have this bright horizon, this yellowish, this cloudy sky, which is also quite dangerous. It looks quite dangerous. We have some more clouds to add. I ended up using the finger instead of the brush because it felt more natural to work with color this way. With a very thin brush we could create these buildings. I thought these are buildings, and then we have this huge skull in the sky.
You get a beautiful paint color, reddish color.
I think we can work with that, with the skull, with the sky. Maybe we add some wool after this is dry. Oh, look at that, some more red in the sky. So beautiful, isn't it? Now the demons! Now what we try to aim for is some more shadows, some more highlights, light highlights. I start adding some black acrylic paint into all the gaps, and then we can start adding some brown. And the last step would be adding the light hitting on the demons. So we put all the bright colors right on top of the demons. Hope this makes sense to you. So I just try to imagine how the sunlight would touch these beautiful demons. The Doom guy itself needs some further shadows as well. Maybe we can just make, well, let's take a break here, use this pen for some very easy shadows, some very easy dirt on the armor, for example, and now we can add the acrylic paint for the shadows. The Doom story itself, well, is not really deep, as the developers never wanted the focus to be on the plot, and that it would take away the attention from the awesome slaughter paired with the epic metal music that makes you feel like a god amongst demons. So the story basically goes like this. A portal to hell has opened. Here, take this shotgun and blast everything to pieces. That's all you can say about the story. But this is going to change. The developers have said that they want to expand the Doom universe, and there's a lot more going on than in the 2016 game. This is the visor of the helmet. I used a plastic bottle for that because it provides us with some curved plastics. It works great with the super glue. Now we can also start working on the eternal blade itself. Let's have a look at the shape of the eternal blade. We have some thorns on the side, 3 on each side. It's really difficult to cut. You can also use a scalpel for that. And now the chain of lights. Maybe we make it a little bit darker inside here, inside the studio. Okay. By cutting into the plastics, we get all the runes and symbols onto the blade, and hopefully this will shine really bright when adding with the chain of lights later. And the idea is to get in some acrylic paint into these tiny rifts we have just created with a scalpel. Also for the edge, let's add some further color on the blade itself, some red, which gives us a really bloody blade. Oh yeah! And we can assemble the handle, glue it into the hand. I'm using the hot glue gun for that. And now we have to hide all the cables, all the other LED light bulbs. Is it called light bulb? I'm not sure about that. And we can glue our Doom guy onto the demons. Oh yeah. I'm so excited, I can't tell you enough. How fun, how amazing this project has been so far. Hopefully all these lights will shine onto the background and give us a really nice atmosphere. We can hide the batteries on the backside. Once I have figured out where to put that frame, I will probably just glue it to the frame. And then we have the logo, Doom Eternal. It says Doom Eternal. First I thought about creating this with clay, but the hovering effect would have been not so great. I wanted to take a very lightweight material, and this is just print it on paper, cut it out. I'm using these needles for the hovering effect, that we get some distance to the artwork. I think you will be surprised how it will look like in the end. Eternal. I'm so proud. Guys! That's it! Doom Eternal! With the Doom guy, some demons, the Eternal Blade, and brutal fun! If you want to see more Demon Eternal content on this channel, please support this video, support me, share and like it. I am really proud of the final result. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great weekend, guys. Take care. Bye. No, I'm not a demon. Don't kill me, please. Not.